Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Should You Play with me, Striker HD. And in today's episode we shall be taking a look at the newly released Bound by Flame. Now if you're unfamiliar with the series, I basically go through the introduction and the background to the game, go through the developer, the publisher, the release dates, things like that. Quick overview of it, then I'll hop over to the actual content of the game, give you a basic overview of the story and the narrative of it, as well as the graphics in-game and the actual gameplay mechanics, have a discussion about that. And then finally I finish off with a conclusion and hopefully help you answer that all important question as to whether you should play Bound by Flame. Now, without further ado, let's get into it. Being a PC title, we shall look at the options menu as well, forgot to mention that. So yeah, it's developed by Spiders, that's the name of the development company. They are a French development company and their back catalogue is not fantastic, I'll tell you that much. Mainly because their most notable games are probably The Testament of Sherlock Holmes in 2012 and Of Orcs and Men. So there's that. And it's published by Focus Home Interactive, who you may know from my previous video on the war game Red Dragon and the whole war game series. They published that, as well as Trackmania. They're probably their two most notable series. However, they do a lot of random games like Pro Cycling Simulator 2014 and stuff like that, basically. So yeah, they're the publishers. Genre-wise, it is an action RPG, if you're not already aware. And it was released on the PC, the PlayStation 3, the PlayStation 4, the Xbox 360, and ... no Xbox One. Now, I haven't looked into this. I don't know whether that's just a mistake when I was doing my research, or it's genuinely not coming out on the one. Who knows? If I'm wrong about that, I apologise. However, release date wise, it was released on the 9th of May 2014. And it was actually released on the 8th on the PC, but officially the 9th. It's just PC tends to swaff-a-dunk their way into earlier release dates. So, here we go. We shall hop into the options menu. Being a PC title, or the one I'm showing you is the PC version, this is very important. So here you go. You can select your controller type. Now to start with, I went in testing it with the gamepad because I like to test games with the gamepad. It's just more comfortable use for me. I can just lounge here and play. Even though it's an RPG, and I know I should be using the keyboard, and I do. But there's that, yeah. And basically, you can use the gamepad fine. And I noticed that here it would actually tell you all the controls for the gamepad, 360 pad of course. However, all the in-game kind of tool tips and just the tips in general and tutorials will tell you the keyboard buttons to press. Even to pick up an item, it will say press E. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you're using a gamepad, the game should automatically change those functions to show you the buttons for the gamepad. So it should say B or X, etc, etc. So that kind of upset me. However, when I was doing the research, I hopped over here and you can actually change it manually, which, you know, it's not too big a deal, but it's kind of annoying still if you don't find it out like I didn't, because I'm a derp. And yeah, you change it to the gamepad and it will then revert everything to the button configurations. So in that way it's good to have that. You've got things like your sensitivity, your vibration, as well as key rebindings, 2 different options for each key. So that's always nice to see. As well as even your mouse controls you can change, which is pretty cool. And again, as I said, the layout for the gamepad. Now, everything is mouse controllable or keyboard controllable, which you can probably hear. And yeah, so that's a plus. Gameplay wise, you've got subtitles, should be a standard. Tutorials enabled and disabled, which is good for people who want to do a second playthrough. Audio wise, there are sliders. You know how much I love sliders. We've been quite good with sliders on the PC recently. Most of the games I've been doing do have sliders. So there's that. And yeah, 4 different ones. It's always good to have the music effects and dialogue volumes. They're the 3 most important as far as I'm concerned. I usually like to turn music up, however, most games the effects is actually quite useful. As well as dialogue, I like to whack all the way up just so I don't have to read the subtitles because I'm lazy. So it's good to see them. Now, graphics options wise, you got your full screen on or off. That's it. So that's going to be a bummer for some people. As well as resolution options, most of the ones you would expect. However, no drop down menus, and I do like my drop down menus. You have about 4 different options for all of these. So you got things like shadows, SSAO, FXAA, even particles, texture, and anisotropic filtering, which I can't say. So there's quite a few options there. Again, with anti-aliasing, there's only enabled or disabled, and that really sticks a thumb up my bum, because it makes such a big performance difference, and consoles still don't seem to know what anti-aliasing is, so it's always nice for people to be able to whack that up. And for me personally, I run most of my games at 1440p. For the purpose of the video, I go down to 1080, but that also means that you don't really need anti-aliasing as much, so I can go with 2 times on most games and run them at 60 FPS at 1440p. However, with a game like this, it only allows you to enable or disable it. It's a bit more difficult because I have to enable it still, because you still get some of the jagged lines, just nowhere near as much as you would on 1080p. So there's that. That will come into some people's annoyances. You have a dynamic resolution. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea what that is, but you know, I slid it all the way to the top, so that's pretty good. Field of view. Yeah, Infinity Ward. Even a third-person RPG has this, and you don't. I hate you. So there's that. That's always a good thing, I guess. I mean, it's a third-person game, so it doesn't really need an inclusion. However, the Batman games I would have kind of liked that. But there we go. So there's that. Annoyingly, it doesn't actually tell you what the blimmin' field of view is, but I just left it on whatever it was. Then you have your brightness options and your credits. So all in all, pretty solid options menu. Not the best, not the worst. You also have a guide here, which kind of just goes through all the tutorials in one nice little section. So that's always handy if you need a bit of a refresher. So yeah, we shall, and it's really annoying having to go back all the time. So we shall continue my game. I am a few hours in, probably 3 or 4 hours in. Also, it's given me the time to discuss load times, which are disgusting, I'm afraid. This is the load time to get into the game. This is the longest one, admittedly, when you first load into the game. This is on a brand new SSD. All the games I do are on SSDs besides the MMOs, because they're so freaking huge. And yeah, look. And then you may think, well, maybe it looks like The Witcher 2, which again has quite good load times on an SSD. No. It doesn't. It does not look like The Witcher 2. Now I'm going to get the graphics out of the way straight away because we're in quite a good area for it. I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I saw it was coming out on last generation consoles. That's never a good thing. RPGs really need to be PC first, and quite clearly this game was not, because it looks like a 360 game, quite frankly. The majority of the game looks like it was made on the 360. I can't jump down there, can I? And I mean, you can kind of see what I'm on about. If you look at these textures, I mean, even on me, on the main character, the texture resolution is pretty bad. We go over to these rocks. Oh, look, they have a nice shine. Oh, wait, they're blurry 3D JPEGs. Not literally, but they might as well be, because that is horrific, frankly. For a game coming out in 2014, it should not look this bad. And I was very disappointed, as I said. Let me get my sword out. Whoa! You see, there's not really much variation in the animations. They're quite bland. They're kind of quite jarring some of the times. I mean, like, that's quite a fluid animation. However, some of these attacks, especially when you're getting attacked as well, it can be quite jarring on the eye to actually watch. You got things like the cloth here. Yep. Not moving an inch. Oh, look, the tree sways. The 2D tree. So yeah, I mean, we can go in the water, it's sloshing around, it reacts. It reacts like Halo 3 reacted to your footsteps in water. I mean, at least it reacts, right? There's that. I don't actually know what game engine it's using, because, well, frankly, the Wikipedia page didn't say, and I'm lazy. So there's that. However, it's so awful, I couldn't really care less. No, it's not. It could be the Unreal Engine. Could. But even then, I'd expect it to look better than this. So again, we'll look at the props. They almost look like it's got a cel-shaded look to it. And when they didn't intentionally do that, that is not good. Draw distance-wise, I mean, you can tell we're in kind of like a, almost like a stage, like a pantomime kind of stage, because there's just the rocks in the background, and they're always kind of enclosed areas. You can't see giant mountains in the background, you can't see towers, you can't see lush forests. It just kind of goes 20 meters that way, 20 meters that way. Then when I go in that build in the town, it will expand slightly in there, and it's not nice. And lighting wise, might as well mention that while I'm here. No god rays, no dynamic lights, no dynamic shadows besides that. These lamps are doing nothing besides like glow. Admittedly it's daytime, but even so. And yeah, it's just, I mean, I don't need to say much about the graphics because you guys can see it. However, the game does run very well from what I've seen. I haven't been in massive battles, but I mean the first boss fight's pretty big. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of enemies, and the boss itself is a big moaf. And it ran well then, but you'd expect it to run well. It looks bloody awful. So there's that. Now, story-wise, I apologise because I'm just going to stand still for a second. As you can see, the NPCs doing not a lot. Story-wise, you are basically a mercenary. I can't remember what are they hired swords? Well, they would be, yeah, but I can't remember what they're called. This bloke here is an elf who tried to kill us, and then he didn't kill us. And then, yeah, so there's that. And yeah, basically, you're trying to defend the world against the Deadwalker army, which are basically undead, like kind of spirits and zombies and skeletons, the usual fantasy nonsense. So nothing too special there. Well, that was creepy. Yeah, so basically, you're trying to defend it against them, and there's the Ice Lords, who are effectively the bad guys who want to vanquish the flames of the living world. And that also plays into the fact that you get possessed by a demon at the start. These are very minor spoilers because it's going to happen if you play the Blimmin' game. And it basically uses your body as a host. And it kind of gives you pyromancy powers, so if I press... Please tell me I can use it here. There we go. So if I press 3, it launches out a pathetic looking fireball. If I press 4, it does a kind of nice effect. It gives me a flame sword. Yay! So there's the... yeah, that's the thing. So basically you get demonic powers from him. Which are basically the pyromancy ones. Now, that's the story. If you like the fantasy stuff like that, the very basic fantasy, bad guy versus good guys, monsters versus humans kind of thing, then you'll appreciate it. But it's nothing original, it's nothing special. Hey, there's a day-night cycle. Well, I never. Hey, look, the lamps. They glow. They glow more. Okay, well, that's a thing. It didn't really improve my perception. But that leads me on to the 3 different stances that are involved in the actual gameplay. So, currently I am in the warrior stance, which is me with my big 2-handed sword. Basically allows you to do heavy attacks. You can charge up your attack and do like multiple I wouldn't call it a combo because it's not really, but it's just kind of a charged up multi-swing attack. As well as your kind of special ability for this stance is a kick, which is good for breaking enemies, kind of shield breaking if the enemy has a shield, or just kind of stunning them so you can go in with heavier blows. Now if I press V, again, I will go into the, I believe it's called the, hang on, Ranger. I always want to call it Rogue, but no, it's a Ranger stance. So this allows you to go into stealth. Stuff goes black and white. You walk at the pace of a snail in a really awkward kind of jittery animation, and then you do a bit more extra damage, and then you can come out of it. But basically, you have 2 little daggers. You attack much more quickly, but do less damage. You'd probably expect the same. Quite nice animations on that for the most part. Again, you can charge it up. Can you get out of the way, you stupid elf? I'm not racist. And then the special ability on that is just to jump backwards, basically. No particular direction, it's always backwards. You can't roll, you can't double tap. And then I should say both of them you can parry just by holding down spacebar, which is what you're going to be doing most of the blimmin' time. And I'll explain that when we actually get into a fight. Which hopefully I can show you, because I've just got to this area and I'm hoping you... So you can't even turn when you're in this kind of stance. You can lock onto enemies, but that even doesn't work very well. The range is awful. Switching between the enemies doesn't work too well. And you have to upgrade the ability to actually be able to parry from the sides. So it kind of leads to a pretty awkward situation. Don't tell me it's getting light again. Oh crap. So yeah, there's that. And then they call it the third stance, but let's be honest, it's not really, because the third is pyromancy. So that's the demon guy. Yeah, so that I can do this. Hello? Is that really me lighting it up? Huh. So I just do this kind of Dark Souls glow. Wow. Like I say, I haven't actually been in the dark to experiment with that, but my shadow is fat. Anyway. So yeah, that's the third stance, and because I have a new level, as you can see, it is harassing me about in the top left, I can show you the skill trees. Now, it's an RPG, skill trees, very, very important. They tend to be what keeps people going, as well as the story. Again, the story isn't anything special, so you might find that lacking. However, let's have a look at the tech trees, see if that is any better. Well, as you can see, there's freaking nothing, basically. I'm going to sound harsh on this game, but it's because I'm disappointed. I don't know what I expected, but I expected more. Again, I'll say more about this in the conclusion. But if we look here, so you got 4 basic kind of lanes to go down. They can be the different attacks, like these 3. That you got your kick, your charged attack, and your standard attack, because that's about it. And then your parry. So then you can upgrade it statistics wise, which isn't very interesting at all. So it's just extra damage. Then you get extra interruption ability, or the charge time for the assault, because you have to charge it up, and you get like 1 change in that. Obviously, I don't know what all of these... Well, actually, no, I do know what they are. They're more blimmin' statistics. So, increase your health, increase health regen, increase chance of attacks, and then there's ones like that which are more practical, active abilities, like parries from different directions. But again, this one just faster recovery, a statistic, so they're not very interesting at all. As you can see, you actually need to get to level 6 to even unlock the next stage, and then level 12, and then level 24, and you get the one big one, which is a statistic. So there's that. And in the meantime, don't worry guys, you can just go through the tiers of statistics and numbers and chances and percentages. Not very interesting. Also, you do rank up like every second to at least the first 5 levels. Or however, no, 8 levels even. But you actually have to level up in these particular stances to unlock the different ones there. So yeah, you get to spend quite a few. And as I say, same type of thing for the ranger. I mean, there's things like this which you kind of just want anyway, like enables faster movement in stealth mode. Is again just upgrading numbers, but it's just for practical reasons. Like this one, enabling you to sprint while in that stance, which is pretty useful. And yeah, they're not interesting. They are not interesting. A lot of RPGs do have a lot of kind of just passive shovelware like this, but it's all like that. Again, extra damage, extra. Well, that's actually different attacks. That's quite good. Actually, like less spell cost for your spell. So as you can see, that's it pretty much. There's 3 skill trees for each stance, and use that how you will. However, you do also have feats, which again are just plus something, plus maximum life, or plus experience earned. So again, passive, not very interesting at all, to be frank. You have things like crossbows, you have your big sword, if I show you the equipment. And you can craft equipment, you can repair it, you can add kind of runes into the slots. So there you go, there's 2 weapons, they look slightly different. Pretty cool. Your daggers, your little mini crossbow, which is just on a hotkey. And then of course your armor, which you can change as you wish. What do I actually look like? Huh. Hercules. So there we go. You can even recycle them to get parts out of them and materials and things. Let's light myself up, because why not? Because it does so much. So yeah, that's pretty much it in the whole kind of upgrade situation. So we are going to go in here and actually speak another bit about the graphics.
You got a minute? Yes.
Lip syncing. I mean, they might as well have not done it. It's worse than the Elder Scrolls Online, I swear. So this leads me into another gameplay mechanic, kind of like Mass Effect and pretty much all blooming games now. You get conversation choices. So here you can see I can just ask him questions. However,
You know these swamps.
the voice acting is so bad, and when paired
Which I suppose is a good thing.
with the lip syncing, makes for such an awkward and it's just not a joy to watch. I find myself trying to skip all the conversations just because they're so boring for most of the point. They're mostly just lore and things.
Safe for the moment, at least until a general or an ice lord comes to town.
Except that recently there has been a change in these swamplands, and I must admit that I no longer feel safe at all.
It's not good.
Something is affecting.
I mean, they're never going to shut up, so I'm just going to skip it. But yeah, it's subpar. It is absolutely subpar. The main voice actor is just the most generic American voice actor you could ever find. And you can't choose what your voice is like. There's no options like that. Again, graphics, the shadow is absolutely horrific. So we're going to keep going. But yeah, the actual dialogue, it's just... it's not good. I'll find someone new to talk to in a second. But... I mean, you can kind of see what I'm on about.
Here we go. Another one of these hick refugees. There's nothing for you here.
I'll be back.
I'll be
That's
back.
an excellent idea.
I'm glad. So yeah, it's really, it's not much fun. Let's go and do the quest, which should be... Excuse me. God darn it! And there's another load time on an SSD. Probably should have been done by now. I'm entering a village hall.
Swamp is our best defense.
Wow, there we
Happily,
go.
the wildlife are just
Give you a chance to see some of the lip syncing and
as
the
they are the villagers.
graphical quality in the cutscenes.
But the situation here in Valvanor grows worse.
Try not to laugh.
And each new wave of refugees increases the risk of drawing unwanted attention to this jungle.
No Ice Lord scouts who find this village will ever escape to tell the tale. Of that, I can assure you. Also, my men are reinforcing your defenses. Forgive me for saying, but you have some serious weak points. Especially the defenses around that refugee camp of yours.
The arrival of the Freeborn Blades and the Red Scribes has greatly improved our chances of survival, Captain. Believe me when I say that we are most grateful to have you with us. Needless to say, your men and the Red Scribes are welcome and free to go where they will. But as for any other newcomers, our gates are closed. You must understand that our food stores are as limited as our abilities to defend our village. Until you arrived, we had but one person who was even vaguely capable of treating our injured.
Yeah, so
And there is this beast story. Doubtless another fairy tale, the fruit of an alcohol-addled... Something hidden in these swamps is causing these large groups entail moving chrysalids that are unmanageable. The others, quite simply... If I were to
I've never
listen...
heard this before.
Enough.
Oh!
You must aid me to do this.
Oh,
I am not
demons
able
coming up.
to do that. Your endless wailings are unbearable.
In the name of Vulcan?
But by the gods, man, what is...
This world is condemned. The cold hath invaded its ground,
Plot
its
twist.
souls, and its heart. Yet here you stand, weaving your limbs like fish taken from the water, miserably shuffling about to conserve
Oh, we
the
got one
illusion
video,
of
hurry up.
warmth and life, and not feel the passing of your last breath, while I must endure your wailings and lamentations. Pitiful.
Vulcan, stop this nonsense immediately.
It is not he who speaks.
Dun dun dun!
All the fall to ruin about you. Yet you still bewail your loose bowels and vomitings.
Excuse me?
You cannot vanquish your Deadwalkers, no more than you can vanquish their necromancer masters.
They suck it dry,
Your
okay.
only chance to cleanse what your own have corrupted is to go to the World Heart and liberate it from its servitude.
The World Heart is a myth, a forgotten fable.
A myth.
No.
Continue hiding behind thy puny barricades, and thou wilt soon join thy myths and fairy tales.
And there's also a guy, speaking of voice acting, who always speaks in third person, and it sounds awful. They actually do
Cease your
kind of make a joke of
pretense.
it, but
I know you have returned to consciousness. What the hell
thou
happened?
shalt not.
I was just listening to the steward blabbing away with the captain, and then
And then you lost control.
I don't know. It's like something in my head zapped me so it could use my mouth, but I was still there, still
Just
thinking what
the
I was saying.
writing. The writing is awful.
First time you have
Gosh
felt
darn
this
it, French.
presence manifest itself.
No, no, it's been there since the temple. It's also in my dreams. I think.
Interesting.
I can't. Honestly.
Something of
Stop.
that hasn't
Stop. What? Whatever. It's no big deal. Yep.
obvious. There
Yep.
is not a
Stop.
If
Stop.
not hesitate.
Please.
I never asked.
It
Please.
speaks to you. Do not listen to it.
Cast it from you.
If you do not resist, it will.
Hey, take it easy. One day at a time. I'm gonna take a walk.
So yeah, as you can tell, my guy's also a bit of an asshole. So it doesn't make you like him anymore. The as you can see, the kind of speech options did have a bit of variety, but they weren't fantastic. Can I get out of here, please? Let me leave. I want to show some combat, and then I'm done. I will end with my conclusion because I'm not enjoying this. It cost me a whole 20 squids, and I'm pretty upset. Pretty upset. Because I basically wanted a stopgap between now and The Witcher 3, which of course delayed till 2015, which I don't care about because they will do a fantastic job. I will not doubt that for any second. Also, you can only, like I say, you can only sprint unless you get the upgrades without your weapon. So that's really practical. Right, let's just go out. We'll just wilderness. Give me wilderness. Get too formal. Alright, let's just go back to where we were. Hello? Okay, yeah, there is a crafting system as well. But from what I can tell, nothing's interesting enough to actually want to bother with that like you would in a MMO or a lot of other RPGs. So we're going to go back out into the wilderness, hopefully find a couple enemies for me to show you the combat and the animation quality with them. So you see there's nice art that's kind of displayed in the background for these, but it tends to be the same art over and over again. It's not that interesting. I'm trying to think what else I can say really. These random mounds that break apart and you get some materials which again you use for the various things. If I light myself up, people should be attracted to it. And hello monsters. Let me climb down. I'll climb you down. Damn it, why? Why is this a thing? Hey look, there's a monster. Right, so you can target with R. As you can see, I have targeted. Now, what you want to do is go in a hole. Parry forever, because it's the only way you're going to stop an attack. And then click. However, I'm still getting hurt, and I'm still in the hole. And I kind of want to use my flame ability. Flame on! So they attack. You parry. They attack again. And as you can see, I've got this on the easiest difficulty, by the way. I really couldn't be bothered to... well, I mean, I could. It was just quite difficult. And I'm not very good at games, don't get me wrong. But you only get a limited number of health potions, which... well, 2. And yeah, so this is the wonderful combat. You die. And there's my protege who's actually about to die as well, so that's always handy. Can you not? Stupid blobbery thing. You can see some of the enemy variety is this. And everything dissolves because, well, they probably couldn't be bothered. Nothing to do with actual lore or anything. So yeah, this is my my kind of companion. You can have a companion which you get to choose across the way. You can have archers, mages, just standard warriors, I believe. You can put down traps like that. So just down the trap. Obviously, if an enemy walks over it, explode in their face. You got your crossbow. You got the pyromancy skills, and then you got your standard attacks and parry and kick, and that's about it. And then the enemies drop some materials for whatever reason. Yeah, it's always leather because clearly they're made of like cowhide, aka leather. So yeah, you saw the combat. As you can see, the animations are not fantastic. They're quite jarring for the most part. Not that fluid. The hell? Oh, I was going the wrong way. Makes sense. And yeah, they're just the combat is not fun. It is not fun at all because there's not much variety in the actual attacks you can do. Like I say, I've listed them. There's about 4 or 5 different attacks you can actually do, and they don't vary much in their animations. Why does it have to be nighttime? It's scary. So yeah, again, graphics, the draw distance. I know it's nighttime, but everything's blurred out slightly, and you're kind of in your own little box. You can't really see anything off in the distance. Because of course they released it on consoles as well, so they have to make sacrifices. And I feel like something bad's going to happen when I jump down there. So I'm actually going to end the video here by searching those rocks and getting some gold. If only that was that easy. And getting an achievement. And I think the game is actually, yep, the game is chugging. I am down to 30 FPS because it is nighttime and I have my light on. Turn my light off. Consistent 45. Brilliant, because of that dynamic lighting effect. I'm done. I am done. It's annoying me just trying to do this. So I've gone through the different gameplay mechanics. It doesn't get more complicated than that from what I can tell. As far as the length of the game goes, I can't really comment on it because I haven't actually looked it up because I suck. But I am not willing to actually play through the whole game. Game modes wise, I didn't actually mention it, is only single player. So once you completed it, I can't imagine you really wanting to do another playthrough because there's no classes or anything. You just got 3 different stances. Besides that, what else did I know? Well, I mean, there was pop in there, so I guess that's the thing. Brilliant. Yeah, conclusion wise, it's an okay RPG. If it was on the Xbox 360 and it came out 3 years ago, I might be slightly impressed by... Well, not a lot really, but I might be more impressed than I am now. Because that's what it feels like. It feels like a 3-year-old game that came out on last generation consoles. And to be honest, it's not a worthy stopgap for the Witcher 3 at all. The more and more I play this, more and more I want to go back and play The Witcher 2, because that is a fantastic RPG, and if you haven't played it, I highly recommend it. It is out on the 360 and the PS3. They did release like the complete edition on it, and it runs pretty well. Obviously it doesn't look anywhere near as good as the PC version, which had a plethora of options you could go through. Pretty hard to run, but you could just tone things down. And when you whacked it up all the way, it was an absolutely fantastic looking game. And as I said, that came out about, it was like 4 years ago now. 3 or 4 years ago now. And it holds its own. It is better looking than the majority of things that come out now, even on the next generation of consoles. But yeah, I highly recommend checking that out. This is not a worthy stopgap for that. I'm gonna say just wait until Dragon Age and The Witcher come out, and play the previous games. Maybe play the old Dragon Ages. And there's so many RPGs out there that are worthy of your time, and obviously they require a lot of time invested to actually get the most out of them. And The Witcher 2 is my number one. So definitely go and check that out if you haven't already. However, this game isn't a full retail price release on PC anyway. I'm not sure how much it costs on consoles. But even on Steam, you can pick it up for $29.99. I managed to luckily get it for £20, or well, just under actually, £19 something on Green Man Gaming. They're always, unless Steam has some very significant sale on, like the summer sale, which Green Man Gaming do their equivalent of, but sometimes Steam will still be cheaper. They're always, besides those rare occasions, cheaper than Steam. They always have a 20% or 25% voucher or even 30% voucher on the go for specific games, but also 20% off pretty much everything you can imagine, including DLC, season passes, etc. So I might leave a link in the description, but if not, just type in Green Man Gaming on Google, UK and US. Go check them out. They are fantastic. And yeah, they had 25% voucher. They might have one again soon. So I got it for £19, but I'm still cheesed off, to be honest, because such a disappointment. So yeah, this is going to be the first time where I conclude with, in my honest, sincere, not so educated opinion, I do not think you should play Bound by Flame. That's it. I see no major redeeming feature, including him just staring at the blimmin' wall, which is also a tree, which is also 2D and blurry. Anyway. Oh, I'm so upset. I'm sorry if this seemed overly negative, but if you don't believe me, check out some other reviews. It has not gone over well with the majority of people. It's a shame, because RPGs have so much potential. They have a fantasy world, they can make up the lore, they can make up the creatures, they can have open worlds, which this most definitely does not. And yeah, they have so much potential, and it's been a while since we got a really good one. As I said, The Witcher 2 came out so long ago, but it kind of makes me just more excited for The Witcher 3, because that is looking fantastic, and no doubt it will get better and better. I trust those guys, the Poles. I'm just going into like start a war in Europe between the Poles and the French. So yeah, I'm going to shut up now and go and play something else. Something else. I think I got to play some FIFA. I'm going to play some FIFA and wreck some little children, because that makes me feel better, and this game made me upset. It's getting daytime again. I am Vulcan, protector of the lands, and have a demon inside me. Yeah, plot twist. I'm going to say, just don't pick up this game unless you're a hardcore RPG fan looking for anything. And if you do pick it up for about £20. It is not worth any more. £20, consider it, give it a go. But if you're paying more than that, then it's not worth it. Wait till it goes on sale. And thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed, leave a like. Again, I apologise if it was overly negative. I never want to do that in my videos. I always try and balance the positives and negatives as much as I can. However, with this game, just stop staring at the wall. With this game, it really just it didn't have any redeeming features for me. So yeah. Now you stop staring at the wall. Thank you. Now don't speak. Don't speak. Don't stop.
Let's move on.
I'm done. God darn it!